Welcome in, everyone. This is the DC DnB Spotlight. Here we endeavor to bring you the DJs, the producers, the promoters, and the people behind DC's drum and bass scene, collecting that oral history that you may either know firsthand or you just want to dig deep into. Tonight, we've got BC9000 in the hot seat. He's a close personal friend of mine. I've known him since 2019. And at that point, he was an up-and-coming vinyl addict, really digging into the old school drum and bass scene and finding a sound that was his own. When COVID hit, he pivoted and he switched into more of a production role. And you're going to learn more about that here in a moment. But one of the things that he once told me that really resonated with me is like, I could make all of this in the box, but I want to know what the box is referencing. I want to know all those original tools that people are using to make the sound, so that if I ever went back to the box, I'd have a deeper understanding of what it was referencing and meaning. And that really spoke volumes to me, to his integrity to the sound, but also to the craft. Now, as a record label owner, he's just released Digital Drugs, which is out now for pre-order. Links are down in the description. I would also like to give a quick shout out to Eaton Radio for hosting this series, and everyone out there who's watching, keep smiling, and thank you for your support.
All right.
So thank you so much for coming in. And for those of you that don't know who this is, introduce yourself, man.
What up, what up? It's your boy Bass Constantly, known as BC9000, drum and bass artist out of the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. And representing for the next generation of players out there, I'm the new kid in the block, put it that way.
You've been the new kid on the block for the last 10 years. Come on now.
Yeah, hey, bro. But, it's time to come out, though.
Okay.
It's time to come out.
So, before we get into everything that you've done, everything that you're doing right now, and all the exciting moves that you're making, let's step it back a little bit.
All right.
And talk to me about your earliest points of music. Now, does it have to be drum and bass, but music that got you inspired?
To be honest with you, I'll say my older brother, directly and indirectly, watching him and seeing how music affected him, physically and spiritually, just being immersed in a world he can create for himself, watching him building a makeshift studio in my mom's kitchen, Pro Tools, Pro Tools 8, M-Box, and just watching him with his little headphones on and just making his demos. And, by then I was skateboarding, so I really didn't know what was going on, but I didn't know how it was going to affect me later on.
Okay.
But yeah,
And how old was he? Whoa.
So he's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So I'm born in 98, so he's born in 92. So it's how we'll do the math that way in terms of time. I couldn't give you a specific year, but I know he started rapping around 2006.
Okay.
So I was a young boy, 7 years old, But and I didn't know how later on music was gonna affect me,
And so you noted that he was rapping, so obviously went into hip hop.
Yeah. Hip hop was the soundtrack of what was going on in my household. Honestly, it was with my brother, my father, oddly enough, too, in South Africa. Early memories hearing DMX in the car and so forth. But yeah, I'll say hip hop, R&B, a little bit soul.
Okay. And now you noted that your father's in South Africa. Were you originally there, or were
Oh,
you
yeah,
American
yeah.
first?
So
Like, walk us through this.
pretty much, man. Born and raised South African. I'm a Zulu. You know. Did I get what you see? My name. It's pretty long, man. You know. But yeah, born and raised there. We got the opportunity to come to America through my mother. You know, she had a profession in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think around 2005, there were like nursing agencies that were outsourcing nurses from abroad, from these different countries. And the two options we really had was either living to England,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, you know, or coming to the U.S. and just taking a leap of faith. So my mom says, you know what, the hell with England because it simply rains too much. So, you know, so I think the option was going to Orange County, California, or Boston.
Okay.
So simply, my mom picked the Boston route. We never heard about this place, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you made it there. How did you end up making it into the DC area?
Um, Pretty much, man. My mom was unhappy in living in New England, and I'm not sure if you know, but you know the history over there, like how you know with the racial stuff, you know it's real. So she got fed up where she felt like she hit like a brick wall where she asked herself, "Hey, I have the education, I have all these things, but why simply can I move on or move up?" So it was just a little, you know, little things that she picked up, and she said, "You know what? Let's go to Chocolate City, you know,
Alright.
DC."
Nice.
And yeah, so we've been happy ever since.
And was that... How old were you when you finally made it into the DC?
I'll say shooting 10-ish, because I came 2005. I was 7 years old. Spent 2 years, so 8, 9. Yeah, 9 going
Okay.
on 10-ish. Yeah,
Right on.
yeah.
When we finally met, I think you were like early college or like end of high school.
Yeah. So what, 2019?
I feel like it was 2019.
Yeah, because I started DJing in 2018.
Okay.
But I left high school 2017.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I would have been 20, probably going on 21.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
We don't know that long. I'm almost 28. 28 next week, man. The
Dude.
8th of June.
I remember it was I think that I can honestly identify that Instagram was how I met you.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a shared post from Joe's Record Paradise. And it was like it was a random shot. And actually, you know what it might have been? Joe might have posted that he had a new pile of drum and bass that came in.
Yeah.
You responded. I responded.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the conversation began.
Yeah, and I found out you live like 30 minutes away from me. Like, who is this guy? I don't know him. You know, let's link up, and it's always been cool ever since. After seeing, you know, that you love the music just as much as me. You know, and specifically the vinyl collection.
Oh my God.
You know.
And that's something that I'm really looking forward to like diving in with you is because you were a vinyl addict.
Yeah,
you were at that point in time. I mean, you were digging hard. You knew exactly what you wanted.
Heavy.
You had these like running lists that you were just like pulling down.
Yeah.
Where I might have been like going over here and trying to get the latest and greatest, and you were like, no, I need this.
Yeah.
And did you know about this classic? And it was like you knew all the background to the tracks that I was dancing to in the 90s. And it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like you were coming with a wealth of knowledge that was well beyond your years. It was exciting.
To be honest with you, I'll tell you why that obsession even came about. you know, with me, man, whether from skateboarding to, you know, graffiti art or anything that I'm very interested into, I'm not just blindly into it and I just, you know, plug away and, you know, do it or whatever. I'm a student, man. I like going back to see where it came from to see where we can go tomorrow. So, and as well, I wasn't seeing too many people my age really um, taking a liking to a lot of the traditional back catalog, but there's something about the music which is so fresh. The fat beats and uh, the musicality that really drew me. Until this day, I'm still finding cuts, even though I'm a producer now. But I still study, you know. Yeah.
And I wanted to get into more of that. I'm gonna call it a hyper focus at the moment.
Okay,
but like,
that's cool. Yeah,
man,
let's
like,
run it up.
because you will sit there and you'll find an interest in a thing and dial it in. I can only assume that it was the same when it came to skateboarding.
Yeah, the graffiti. Yeah, 100%.
100%. Like, I'm gonna hyper focus in on this, and I'm gonna know it so well.
Yeah.
What record do you still not have that you're hunting for?
Spoils of War by DJ Crust. It was on the what album was that on? You know the album with the orange cover of his portrait.
Yeah.
Is it Future Unknown? No, not. Is it Future Unknown? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But just know, yo, Spoils of War is one of the illest tunes that you know, I got a hunt for, and if you know me, man, Crust and Paradox were simply two of my inspirations in terms of their ethos and I say being punk, not giving a fuck, you know, and really not following, you know, paving their own way.
Now, as your network has expanded, and you've reached out to a lot of these legends,
dude,
who do you still want to reach? Who do you want to...
Crust. Crust, yo, Crust and Paradox. I gotta really thank them because they birthed me, you know. But what's crazy about the drum and bass world compared to hip hop or any other forms of music is how accessible these guys are. You think they're not, but if you come at them correct and just be sincere, they will really talk to you, dude. Yeah. It's bugged out. It's really bugged out.
Who have you been able to talk to, develop a relationship in that way?
Dude, I'll say the craziest one as of now, I'll say Brother Lemon, you know, Lemon D, man, you know, he took that leap of faith of just respond to the DM, because he told me straight up, like, yo, at first, man, I wasn't sure I was going to respond, but when I saw your setup and what you're doing, it's like, nah, this kid's serious. So I had to see what you're about. So he just called me, literally called me, and then we just vibed out. And then from there, you know, I had the pleasure of kicking it with him at the Valve warehouse, man. It's been bugged out ever since, you know what I mean? So I'll say Lem. Maybe I had instances of maybe in the early days, Busy Bee helping me out in terms of starting up the hardware studio, Paul Scuff from Bassbin in Ireland. You know, a few of these guys that were very influential in my development in the early years, even if they don't know it, and maybe sometimes my communication with them was limited, but they don't know what they birthed, man.
Okay.
Straight up. Yeah, man.
You know, I've always been impressed when you're like, and I reached out and I got responses, and I'm like, good on you, man. Like that. I mean, because you did. I mean, you showed up, but also it showed a sense of how much more information, how scholarly you are.
Yeah, I'm
being
hungry,
about
man.
this.
Like I'm like, look at my eyes. I'm starving, man. Like, you know, especially at that, like loving the music so much to a point where it's like pure delusion, and delusion at times is the only thing that keeps you going when the times are hard.
Yeah.
Especially me being starved from the movement. I'm all the way in the U.S. where we all know the movement is not as strong as Europe, man, and being a lone ranger at times, being the only young boy in a room full of grown men.
I mean, and I think especially when you were coming up in the scene here in DC, because like you were coming up as a DJ.
Yeah.
COVID smashes, right?
That was nasty.
But it was also this weird time period within our scene where we didn't have very many young DJs.
Yes.
There were a lot of older,
Yes.
elder statesmen, if you will, and women. They were there with them. But COVID hits, right? And you pivot. You went from, okay, I'm DJing a lot, I'm doing some live streams. You were doing the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
You never really jumped on Twitch hardcore. I'm gonna kick you in the teeth on that.
I'll be honest with you. If you know me, I'm not really a tech guy like that. Like I just vibe out. I looked at YouTube as a personal diary where the kid of tomorrow can find my video somewhere and get inspired the same way I dove deep on the crevices of YouTube and got inspired by videos that came out 20 years prior to me, And I felt like Twitch was cool in the moment of, capturing what we're doing now. But YouTube, I looked at YouTube as like an archive. It was very strategic in a sense of why I did it, but at the same time, the rational side, someone say, yo, go on Twitch. But nah, I think the underground hung out on YouTube, oddly enough,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I was always impressed with the numbers you were able to pull on YouTube. Because, like, that is not an easy market.
Dude, and I didn't do shit.
And your setup was not great.
and two, what I loved about even the raw ruggedness of this, like
it was gritty.
The budget setup, which was like also by design, just to see, this is where I came from. Nothing was pretty here. I'm in some dodgy basement, rocking some JVC speaker and 2 decks, and that's it, lighting, that. I don't give a fuck.
Let's talk about this setup, because I mean, like I said, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
We knew each other in IRL land.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits, and I would get these photos, these late night photos from you, either of like you're building your studio, you're doing the thing, like as it was coming along.
Yeah.
And I was like, the time. I mean, it made my studio look big.
Yeah. At one point, I was in a unfinished bathroom. The acoustics were so fucked, but like that was the only space I had. So I had a little picnic table. Just in building the rack as I went, not knowing all this doing, but like I knew I was chasing something that I couldn't really pinpoint. And to further backpedal in terms of why I pivoted, I simply saw, okay, DJ was a start of something, but to truly give back, you gotta go to the land of only where few will go, is produce the beats, because I feel like I also saw we're at a point where there's more DJs than producers. So I'm like, okay, how can we keep this culture alive if we play in a smaller pool of producers' records? So I said, man, let me see what this production thing is about.
Okay.
And never turn back.
So you get the bug. You're in this tiny ass bathroom, for lack of a better word. I mean, like, no toilet or sink. It's it's a hole. It's a space.
Yeah, I'll send in photos so you can show whoever.
Please.
But yeah,
I mean, I might be able to dig up the.
Yeah.
But you started to pivot, but you didn't just pivot to the box.
Nah, you go back to the source. The same way with the vinyl decks, I had to get my fingers dirty. I had to go back and see, okay, there's a fundamental difference. Okay, the sound pre-DAW and post-DAW. Like, why does the music sound the way it did, and how at times rigid it really was, but at the same time it had a lot of intention and soul in a different way. Where the DAW, you pushed the music somewhere else, but there was something interesting about those formative years where I wanted to investigate.
Okay.
Why the music sounded the way it did.
And what was the first piece of gear you bought in chasing the sound?
I'll say, I was experimenting with like the archive rack samplers and the EMU sampler, trying to see what I liked, but it was definitely the rack samplers, a basic Mackie desk, and then I got effects units as I went. But I'll say a sampler and records. Okay. I knew that's what they were doing. Okay, sampling records, and there's no sample packs out here. We ain't doing no sample packs. You know, we're creating our own sample packs.
Or if you are finding sample packs,
yes,
it's the old sample packs.
Oh, that's CDs. True. But like I use those. I use maybe those sample CDs maybe as utilities. Maybe I say fuck sampling the sounds on there. I want things like drums or just basic utility stuff. But the source of the music will come from the heart of where I came from.
Now, at this point, it sounds like you're just a consumer. You're buying the things. But I also know you're repairing the things.
At one point,
you're modding the things. You're updating the thing. I mean, like, dude, you, like, again, it goes back to that focus. You went deep in ways where I was like, you would ask me about gear, and I'd be like, I had it, but man, I don't know about. I never cracked it open to look on the
You're
inside.
actually right, because when I came up, there was actually a open market of people revamping the stuff and updating the technology that was once thrown away, putting SD cards and little stuff like that. You can do cosmetic things like updating the dim lights of the rack samples. If you're a rack head, you'll know what I'm talking about, specifically with the archives, the little dungy blue screen where you can't see shit at in no light, So updating stuff like that and learning what the components were. But I never got to a point where I can solder, But basic stuff, I will go on Facebook Marketplace or eBay and hunt for those deals, like $100 Akai. Oh, let me get that. Oh, S900, $200. Give me that. And I'll have a stack of this stuff, but I knew I would experiment. I like that one. Okay, take that one. Not that one. Not for me. Resell it. Until I figured out what flavors I wanted. But I stuck with the EMU Nation, EMU boy, man.
All right. So what is your current rack setup or signal flow?
Okay. So after 6 years of, being hard body, of EMU rack samplers, EMU rack sampler and rack effects and a desk, I simply got tired. I saw, I pushed the limits with the tech, so let me start experimenting with a hybrid setup. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay. So I knew if I were to go hybrid, I couldn't cheap out. So on the front end, I got I'm playing with interfaces with like digital I/O and specifically the Lynx Aurora.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know that one.
I don't.
But yeah, that's a nice one. It takes like DB25 cables.
Okay.
16 inputs, 16 outputs.
Ooh.
But the converters is what is a selling point, because I knew, since I'm not gonna really using an E anymore, so the A and D or the DAs, I may be losing out on that. So I couldn't get a Focusrite Scarlett and do the same thing in terms of routing all my stuff through the outputs, because I like to push my signals and stuff. So I knew, let's experiment with that. So sorry to go long winded, but Lynx Aurora, Mackie A bus is still there to keep the ethos, going in terms of being tactile. Because a thing that I had a frustration with is using the mouse, and to me it's uninspiring. I wanna touch my sounds. I wanna feel it. It's a weird thing, but the guys that come from hardware, they know what I'm talking about, man. And that's really it. That, or I may still use my rack effects on mixdown day. So pretty much, I may use the EMU as a secondary thing for sound design. Bring it into the Cubase 12 or whatever I'm using now. Take the sounds, route them individually on the desk. Business as usual. It's still like I'm doing what I'm doing yesterday, but now I have a computer with more processing power. Not only that, the luxury of being portable, because my life is getting more my life is getting more complex, and
Indeed.
Simple.
Simple.
It's simple. It's simple.
One of the things that I loved was that early on in your building of your signal chain, you made a comment to me that really stuck with me that I enjoyed, was that I want to know the hardware so that when I'm in the box,
I can exploit it.
Well, I know what it's referencing.
Oh,
I know what it's talking about. Because otherwise I've got no idea. And it was like, because I came from hardware and then went into the box, so I've never really thought much about it. It was a transition into the box.
Yes.
I'm starting with the box, and I have no reference material to work with.
And that's where the disconnect comes with, like, the elders and the young bulls that use the DAWs. They don't know what auxiliary send is. They don't know how to exploit signal flow on another level that a guy who came from hardware can, versus only knowing zeros and ones. But it's beautiful to be able to have that reference and coming in, and I can exploit a DAW in a different capacity than the average guy of my age, to be honest with you.
So we've been nerding out, obviously.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good.
You can go on all day.
No, I love it, and I want to continue. But what was the sound in particular that you're chasing to make? What was the thing that was the driving force that was keeping you up at night that you were trying to build? Because I remember all the files you've sent me over and like, it was, your sound has always had a through line, but it has changed over time. And I want to know, what was that sound that you were digging for?
To be honest with you, I still ask myself this question today, but I think something that was more, some people use the word as dusty or grimy. I wanted something that was like not really polished in the sense of boost 200 hertz, all the technicalities. Like, no, like, fuck the technicalities. Give me a little bit of mud. Give me, just feeling. That's all I want. Feeling with the music, man. And I was just frustrated. Like, I couldn't really convey what I was trying to figure out. But I realized the more I let my nuts hang in and didn't really care, the more the sound started to evolve, and also a sense of vulnerability. Take that risk of making the music from where your heart is versus thinking about the dance floor, thinking about everything else. But like my mind, I'm thinking about, can this music fit in different rooms? Can this be scored on cinema? Can this be, can even your grandmother and your mom who thinks it's weird, the music's kind of weird, but you know what? It's kind of dope. And they like it.
Yeah. So, again, like, I'm going back to this, like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're vinyl heads.
Yeah.
Where would Juno and how would Juno tag it to put it into their system?
I'm sorry?
How would Juno Records, right, take one of your productions?
Okay.
Where would they put it? I mean, obviously it's square drum and bass, but is it jungle? Is it tech step?
Look,
is it... No.
Yeah.
I'm asking because, like, I wanted to hear from you whether or not you'd broken it down like that, or you're just shooting at the hip from, like, what feels good at the moment.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I'm a guy, I don't really bunch things in categories. Oh, I want to make tech step adjacent stuff or neurofunk or jungle. I look at this whole movement as is one big melting pot that I feel like all the sounds go together cohesively, especially on a DJing sense. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, bro, I don't even know where my stuff really goes in, but all I know is it's drum and bass, jungle, man. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says, man. It's the music. It's all a yummy melting pot.
A yummy melting pot.
You know,
but
I'll leave that to you guys to figure out where you wanna place the sounds. But I don't care, man.
Well, we'll talk about the placement of sounds when we talk about your most recent release. But actually, two things of note. A, because we've not addressed how you got your name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's the other question?
We haven't addressed that. Yeah. Let's start with that, and then I'll get to the next one.
BC, so like, bass constantly just comes from simply, how can I explain this in a way that will make sense? The name simply comes from me just loving the music, man. And someone, made a comment to me and said, well, what is this bass music that you're constantly listening to, man? So it's like, man, it's always bass constantly, So it's like, BC. But the 9000 really, some say may not really have significance, but I wanted to make it sound like I'm some type of machine, like a one-man machine, a robot. I'm half man. I'm a man of steel or something like that, for the unreal grinding of how much I put into the music, and to a point where I'm not even human. I'm an android. I'm a prototype.
I mean,
BC9000, prototype BC9000.
You definitely grind. I mean, good God, man. Like, again, it goes back to the audience doesn't know this, but like, again, you will drop things on me. I will wake up in the morning, like 5 a.m. I'm jumping on my bike, about to go for a training ride, and it's like, here's all the music that you've sent me over the evening, a series of like random awesome thoughts that are now making me like, have a great like ride mental like, processing, and photos and videos of you in the studio, and I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah. This was just one night. And I love it. Like, don't ever stop doing that, because it always makes my day when I see like you pop up in my notifications.
It's not easy, because sometimes too, like, I'm thankful that you support, but sometimes when you're grinding so hard that you sometimes don't see what others see. Not only that, but you can be so lost in the grind that you forget why you're even grinding so hard sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's real, man. It differentiates the people that, passively do it as a hobby, and someone who they can't live without it.
Yeah. I mean, we've known each other now for almost a decade.
That's fucked to think about it, because honestly, it's like I felt like I time traveled, Busy Bee once told me something interesting that I didn't believe when he told me this, but he goes, oh man, you get into production, kid, your life's about to change. the concept is time. The concept of time will just change, where you become a time traveler while everybody's out and moving about. You're gonna be in that studio, in that basement. One summer turns into three summers turn into 6 summers.
Yeah.
Just like that. And are you comfortable with knowing that, like, life may move with or without you while you're in the basement?
Dude, those are some heavy thoughts.
Yeah. And are you built for it, you know? Because that's why I respect the ones from yesterday, where they really sacrifice themselves day in, day out, year in, year out, to provide what we have today. Straight up. It's fucked. It's fucked. It's
true.
Yeah, bro. It's making me emotional thinking about it. Like, it's deep, man. I even forgot where we're at, but
It's all good.
Yeah, that messed me up, man.
I mean, I was thinking about it because I was like, you've known my daughter
Since she was a toddler.
Yeah, she was 2.
I can't even recognize her now, dude.
I know, right? But you've known her since she was 2.
Yeah.
She thinks of you like a brother.
Yeah.
And I was like having the thought of like, okay, like I've celebrated like 9 years on Twitch. You've known me through the entire streaming, saga, almost from the beginning. Like it's kind of bonkers and awesome.
It's bugged out, man. Like, to think time has moved that quick, but time is also beautiful, looking things at in retrospect as well, you know. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for your family. I'm thankful for all this. But it's crazy how the music brought us all together.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
And on that topic, who are the others in your community that you send those late night videos to?
Oh,
who
yeah.
are sending you tunes and getting you inspired?
Yeah,
like,
man.
Talk to me more about that community.
Shout out to my team, man. Without my team, you know who you are. Integra, Sky-Fi, Zeldin. Dude, the list is deep. Blah. All these guys in the underground that, like, eat, sleep, breathe, and music. We just share each other's tunes. Kind of like sparring partners in a sense of we watch each other, and share tunes, see what the mix man's doing. Oh shit! I need to go back in the studio. He did that tune. Okay, now I gotta, step it up. It's kind of that hip hop edge. But that's just to name a few. But there's a lot of cats out there. I can't really think too deep. But there's like a small community of us, especially the producers of tomorrow, that are coming up that are like under 40. Mid-30s or below.
I'm assuming that this is a global.
Yes. The music has got me to stay in touch with the boys in England. My boy Integra is like isolated in Lithuania, out of all places,
Okay.
But he's English, but he moved over there. He's isolated by himself. But I'll say between Sky-Fi and Integra really make me, shape up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is their sounds?
Okay.
In comparison.
So, with Integra, oh man, that guy's a machine. He's like big bro. He's like the oldest out of us. He's like 29. I'm 27, and then Sky-Fi's like he's our son. He's like 21, 22. Okay. But as far as Integra, his sound is reminiscent of like that hardcore drum and bass sound, man. That tech stab, neurofunk adjacent sound, technical beats.
Okay.
Bass lines, modulated beat, everything. With Sky-Fi, man, that kid, he's a freak. For one, his setup is even like more bare bones than us. It's just a little laptop with no audio interface and some Bluetooth Sony headphones. But the frequencies that kid gets, it's insane. But his sound is more so soulful, put it that way. Very musical. He loves his beats.
Okay.
You know, and I'm like the hybrid in between. And,
Truth. All right. So you're making music. You've got a squad.
yeah.
When did you decide to make it physical instead of just digital releases? When was the physical part?
Off the jump, because like I knew, okay, my goal production, I want to see a record with my name on it one day.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, I knew we're in a transitional point where we're going fully into the digital world, but I knew that specifically our genre of music, it's not built for streaming. It's very independent. It thrives off of, I feel like, physical sales and hard copies out of all the styles of music, where people cherish a dub plate or a vinyl or a small production run. And as well, gets a little bit deep, but I want the music to still have a chance to not end up in a digital wasteland. When all these platforms go under, at least a copy of out there can end up in a thrift shop or someone's random basement or somewhere where the music still has a chance to live on another 50 years or maybe I might be lucky 100 years.
Okay.
Because it's a weird time that we're living in with the digital, and we're trying to figure out how to even monetize that, even on the business end.
And you've got experience with being in and around a factory, a vinyl factory.
Yeah, thanks to you, dude. So this guy, Ocean, he pulled up. He's like, "Yo, I got this job fair for you, kid. I know you grinding in the studio, but I think getting some experience specifically at this record plant will give what you're doing a different perspective." He didn't outright say that, but he said, "Go for this job affair." But me being so, what's the right word? I can pick up things without nobody telling me anything. I knew why he told me to go, but I went. I ended up working at a record plant for like 2 years, and that's what really inspired me that, okay, people are lying. There's a demand for vinyl because you'll find an Atlantic pressing 10,000 copies and it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
So kind of forgot where the question was, but yeah. The record plant, huh?
Man, I actually forgot that I at the moment you said it, I'm like, yeah, I did send you that, didn't I?
Yeah, the record plant, man. It taught me a few things about the manufacturer side of building a vinyl record from ground up. I know why the wait times are the way they are. 6 to 8 weeks, 10 weeks, some places 24. I feel bad for you, but it's still a process, regardless whatever time frame. But it made me love building it from ground up, and now I love it on another level in terms of taking a gamble and pressing 500 records at a time. Not knowing if I'm not going to red or it will sell. I don't give a shit. I'm doing it for me.
But you can. And so what was your first release? And was it, and actually no, before that, what is the name of the record label you put out?
So my first ever vinyl?
Yeah.
So my first ever vinyl is the my Gully Life recordings.
Okay.
Vinyl. Gully Life 001. I pressed it about 10 months ago, 11 months ago. And it was well received, man. And people still support it right now. Then we're following up with Digital Drugs. It's coming out in the next week or two. Who knows? Where's the vinyl at? Huh? Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, this is potent out here. Oh, we got it's potent out here, huh? Huh? That's what we selling, man. It's gonna be the new heat on the streets right here. But before that, honestly, I did a few, not even a few, like 2 digital releases on Bandcamp, just test the waters of how people would even receive the beats, and people liked it from the jump. So I knew, okay, let's try to do the vinyl.
All right.
Out the gate, I'm here.
So where did the name? Talk to me about Gully Life and Digital Drugs. Where were those names inspired from?
So what Gully Life Recordings, man, it's I wanted to in the beginning call the label Life Recordings, but it was sadly taken. But Gully Life added a new twist to it because, for one, the music depicts like auditory movies, like depicting, just auditory movies of day-to-day life, soundtracks of day-to-day, and also the life I indirectly, live. Even within the titles, you'll see some of the titles as deeper meanings that relate back to me within the music. A lot of coded messages with it. But yeah, I live a grimy life, man. I'm just being in the studio day in, day out for years at a time. I'm living the gully life, man. It's hard, man. I'm starving, trying to eat, man. But as far as digital drugs, though, I just wanted another platform to release, a different style of beats of just like, I call it gladiator school, in a sense of, anything goes on digital drugs. And I wanted to make medicine for the streets out there, So when you take a dosage of your medicine, you get happy, you get excited. This is the only medicine that you need. These digital drugs that I provide you, man. I'm your doctor, kid. Yeah,
I find it comical though. It's like digital in an analog format.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now you've got your label. You're pressing records. You're making moves, and now you're starting to make networking and pushing over in England.
Yeah.
So talk me through that. I mean, you just got back not too long ago.
Dude, it's it takes that leap of faith of like, believing in the sound to a point where you want to take it back to the motherland and show and tell, and represent only for the, also the USA guys, where, I knew if I wanted to continue to do this music on a serious level, I had to somehow find a way to get back to the source, which is Europe, and explore unknown territories, which has been, very interesting to congregate with the brothers up in England or just Europe in general, and also embracing me with open arms. That I'm an outsider, but they still they respect that I'm coming correct and I'm trying to come back to the source. I'm trying to see how I can elaborate on a deeper level. I think as well, traveling back and forth gives me another perspective on the music in terms of also hearing the music on a sound system overseas and seeing how the music is supposed to sound.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. And as far as that whole shebang and trying to get my feet wet and trying to find my way over there, it's a constant grind right now. But yeah.
It's funny, like when I want to say it was the Gully Life release because that was the one that I gave.
I'll say it was my first legitimate release.
Yeah. But that was the one that I gave to Bailey.
Oh
for you.
yeah, you DJ
Yeah,
Bailey.
and it's actually one of the things that I regret that I didn't try to capture a photo of like me handing it to Bailey and all
That's
that.
alright.
It was one of those things where I was like, late night, and all that. But it was again another page, a section, a chapter
Yeah,
in your story as
yeah,
you're making these networks, you're
yeah,
making these connections.
yeah. And like I said, like I'm the new kid on the block. You may see my name, not know me yet, but know me eventually. Because I won't stop. Like straight up, I'm stubbornly, holding this thing down for the USA guys, especially the young guys, man. Where they need a big bro to look at. Okay, there's young guys doing this. Maybe I can do this too.
Yeah. I mean, and what there's you in your camp, and you need more local representation. You need
It is what it is,
right?
man. Like
You need to do some more shows, but
yeah.
locally. But then there's also there's another new camp that's coming up, the DMV DnB crew, and
I've seen
they're all young kids.
Wow.
I mean, they are young. I mean, kids. Sorry.
Man, they kids. Anybody?
No. But that's insulting. They're younger than me, which doesn't take much, but they're coming up with fire and energy, and I'm like, hell yeah, we need more of this in the scene. I'm really excited for that whole crew.
Yeah, nah.
Shouts out to them, by the way.
Yeah, shout out. I'm watching you guys. I think I've seen flyer somewhere, on the web where I've seen that name before, but I don't know about too much about what they're doing or where I could find them.
I'm just gonna keep sending you stuff, man. They've got a whole Discord, the whole nine.
Okay.
No, it's worth keeping your finger on the pulse and watching them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day there might be a market for the youngers to really get into this music, because I see a disconnect, especially in the U.S., with your generation and my generation, where to us the music never doesn't even exist. These kids don't know about this music, and they don't even know that they would really like it if they were really exposed to it, and how fresh this music is,
Or they just call it EDM.
Oh, they call it they bunch it up to this EDM stuff, but it makes us look bad where it's just this high frequency noise. But in theory, this music is soulful.
Yeah,
It's real. It's serious beats. This is street music, man. It's straight up urban beats, man. I feel like that's another reason why I fell in love with drum and bass, because of how adjacent it is to hip hop. To me, at least, when I hear drum and bass, I hear hip hop, as I'm still bobbing my head to it like I'm listening to an 85 BPM, but I'm listening at 170. And you take it to the next level with the vocals. It blew me away, because like I love hip hop.
Yeah.
When I'm hearing what these guys are doing with like double time and the range and clarity, especially in England, when you see it live, an MC working with the DJ, that's hip hop, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, you don't even see that in the hip hop anymore. A DJ working with a mic man and rocking a party. It's hip hop today is kind of like a more of an individual thing. It's about me. Drum bass was the complete opposite, and I've been addicted ever since, man.
What aspects of your journey have I missed at this point that you want to highlight? Because, I mean, you've had so many fun facets. Like, I know I'm probably glanced over a bunch. So, like...
Okay. So, apart from the music, weirdly, the music has got me to explore some of my other lost hobbies in pursuit of building these platforms, such as videography, the photography, and not only that, video editing and creating world building. And it got me to explore those realms again, which is kind of cool. And what else? What else am I into? Or random fun facts. Maybe you might know a few things that I'm breezing right past.
I mean, you did. You breezed past your videography work. You breezed past the fact that like you were a skate filmer.
Yeah.
You know, and that like your love for the original Sony
Handycams. Like I grew up on the Sony VX1000.
Yeah.
I was like I'll say the last generation to really be able to pick them up like for dirt cheap. You know, I'm talking about 2012, 2011. You know, when you guys were going towards digital, you know, they're putting these cameras up for like $100 on eBay and so forth. And it goes back to the whole thing again. I'm a student. So with the skate filming, I wanted to go back to the source. What was the camera that was being used? I think at the time, the VX1000 was still being used, but it's slowly being phased out by the HVX and so forth. So, but like, you know me, with that obsession thing, I picked up the Mini DV, explored that realm for a few summers, and yeah, dude, it's amazing the power of videography, of being able to express yourself. Even if you can't jump 10 stairs, you can convey that 10-stair jump in a different manner, you know. And same thing with the photography. I don't know where I picked up these things in terms of the interest. Maybe my mom having camcorders and being into tech. Yeah. Seeing these little things, I'll fidget with them, you know. Stuff like that.
Shouts to your mom, because she's been such a rock in your evolution of your story.
Yeah.
You know, both allowing you to lock yourself away.
Yeah.
And have those moments and supporting you through that. You know, but then also just being, you know, an amazing mom.
To be honest with you, it's only till now I really realize how privileged I was to have a mom like her, even though she comes from a different generation where, to be honest with you, she doesn't know what I'm doing. It took her till now to even realize I even made music. She didn't know I was even making music. Like, that's how disconnected in terms of not knowing what's going on. And bless her. But what she did give me was a place to, a safe haven to, you know what, he can build his studio down here. I respect the fact that he's consistently doing something. I don't understand it. I don't see what the end goal is in it. But you know what? Maybe he knows something that I don't know. You know what, son? Go make your noise. You know, and especially as a grown man. And mind you that I started making music at 21. Yeah, that's kind of late, dude. You know, in a sense of the grand scheme of things of competing against kids that were doing it at 13 years old. Yeah. To 21 versus 21 with no practical experience, no music theory, no traditional education. Didn't even know how to count bars. You know, until my older brother taught me, it's like count measures, this, that, and the third. So yeah, it was a risk, even like starting music that late. But I knew my my consistency and my hard work will outshine the years of not being able to develop that talent. You know, and COVID.
and
COVID was my blessing in disguise, because it reset the playing field where it bypassed me time. When the world was shut off, I didn't have to think about the practical world. I could get away with grinding every day for 2 or 3 summers straight every day, to a point where the scale started to be coming to a point where, all right, this kid, it's interesting. I want to see how far I'm going to go with it. And then now, boom, I'm 27. Yeah. I've almost 7 years of experience, bro. Yeah. Which I couldn't have got if life was how it once was, because the pressures of all the other stuff. Yeah. You know, I got lucky. I got lucky, dude.
In that regard, you did. Like, now, calling a global pandemic lucky is kind of...
no, but you know what I mean? Yeah. No, I don't want to say that. But, yo, I got lucky, guys. But but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You know, but there you go again with some call it delusion. I call it optimism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew after the pandemic that things are not as stable as we thought they were. So why not chase your dreams? You know, we could go out tomorrow, but just being blessed to be able to wake up every day and do it over and over again gave me another spark of motivation saying, nah, dude, I'm doing this. I don't care what you think. I'm doing this. And I'm willing to man up with the potential repercussions for doing what I'm doing. I don't care.
Man. So we've got this release.
Yeah.
When's it dropping?
Dude, I go by vibe. Look, I'm not a traditional guy who runs a label like, we're gonna first quarter, the release is coming out here. Then okay, man, I go by vibe. So I'm thinking about next 2 weeks for sure.
Okay.
Pre-orders gonna be out. We're gonna do a few pre-orders and it'll be out by the end of June. Period. 100%. You know what I mean?
Well, then, if they're not out by the time I post this, the moment that it does, I'll update the links.
Right on.
I got you covered. But what's your next push?
My next push right now, honestly, taking a break from the studio. I put my time in. Now it's time to touch grass. I need to come outside again, aka travel, play out live. I'm really want to push for that. Not only that, the back catalog I have, I can start feeding the streets. Y'all are hungry right now. Y'all need some of this. So we're gonna pump out the labels. You know, I'm starting to get to the point where I can start funding it little by little. So we're gonna ramp up the consistency of releases. So you're gonna be soon seeing no longer one release a year, 2 years. No, it's gonna be at least, if I can fund it, 2 or 3 releases on the short end. But if I can finagle something, I'll like to do 4 or 5 if the demand is there. But I think it's still healthy, 3 and 4. And I'm also willing to, you know, maybe entertain signing a record or two to someone else's label, spread the wealth.
Okay.
But, you know, it has to make sense. But I'm open to that. So holla at me, y'all. Holla at me.
And digital drug merch, because I'm sorry, like
that's hard.
You got a name,
That's
and
hard.
I want to see it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, dude. And that's where, we wouldn't have to sort out some merchandise. I'm a big fashion guy too, so merch is a big thing too of storytelling. Not only that, but bringing community together and investing in something versus just a record or buy my record. No, I wanna sell experiences, not just a record, a whole lifestyle. You're gonna see New World TV, New World, the New World Network, a collective now, pushing, something bigger than just the beats, So I think that could be something that could translate to the next generation. The documentation side of the life we live.
Yeah.
Steep, man.
It's awesome.
Steep stuff. But stay tuned for that. You're gonna see it, man. Like I said, I'm here to stay, baby. I'm the new kid on the block. You may love and hate me, but yeah, I'm the most loved, but yet the most hated. But I still gonna come through. I'm like a virus. You can't escape me. Straight up, I'm coming.
So who do you want to play with then? If we're building a perfect lineup, as you're exposing it, you're going to go do your promotions for this stuff.
Need my team.
Okay.
Need my team straight out. Like
right.
Callum, Integra, the Delinquents, all these secret plays that you may not know of yet. I really want to build a platform for the voiceless. People like myself, man, who don't get opportunities. Yeah, you can play with the big headliners. That's cool, but I wanna play with the voiceless.
Okay.
Straight up, and it's simple, like just like that. My team.
Cool. It's awesome. All right, Who do we need to thank before we close up?
Yo, for one, you.
What? Shit.
Yo, thank you, for bringing me to this world of yours, man, and we're making history together. For one, that's you. And just everybody around me, man. It's just a blessing to have support. My brother, my mom, my homegirl Molly. Shoot, man, the list goes deep. Everybody out there, I'm sorry, dude. If I didn't mention their name, just know, man, you mean a lot. Oh, Adam. Yeah, DJ Glob. Yeah, I gotta thank you too. But, the list is deep, man. Everybody, the whole world. I thank you guys, man. Straight up.
Now we gotta get you back in on this updated rig.
Oh, the ones and twos. Yeah, you can get nasty in the ones and twos. Yeah. I'm gonna be a triple threat out here, man. I can.
I think this one, because generally with my spotlights, I tend to at the end send you on to an older one.
Okay.
But instead, I'm gonna send them to the first time you came over to the house and you mixed, because I've got that whole video still, man, from God, 9 years.
Yeah, you can see a fetus version.
You were so young.
Of myself. Now I'm a grown man. I got facial hairs now.
If that's all it takes to be a grown man, then I've been there for a while.
Yeah, we paying 1099 W2s now. We talking about W2s. Yeah, that's that grown man stuff, man.
Oh God. Taxes.
Responsibilities.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming out. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk about your story. Yeah. But it's also been my pleasure to be a part of your story. And I'm really excited to see where you go.
Yeah. And I got one last message for anybody out there, man. Keep dreaming out there, man. Don't let anybody discourage you. If you got a vision, hold on it tight, because that's all we have, man. Keep dreaming, and one day something will work out, as they say. I'm still waiting on it, but I know it's coming. Keep dreaming, kids.
Oh yeah, man.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Peace.